Good morning to myself, my future self. Um, I'll do a quick audio check. All right. So I called yesterday. I called the lunch macro yesterday pretty accurately. Um, I was wrong about this huge move down. Um, but really, I should have expected yesterday to be a pretty clean price action. I got FOMC is on Wednesday, and that kind of psyched me out. I was thinking it might be high resistance, but if there's high impact news later in the week, Monday is typically pretty good trading. And then leading up to that news, the closer we get to it, the worse the trading gets. So really yesterday, I should have been expecting potentially an easy move like this. So I didn't do anything here. The lunch macro I watched, I called it exactly perfect. It initially took buy side here and then came back down and took the sell side. I called both of those moves. I placed an order to go short right here. It did not fill me and then went to my full target. So that's just the way it goes sometimes. And then I said I wanted to be done after lunch macro because I didn't really have any expectation or I didn't have any idea of what the PM session might want to do. I just didn't have a good idea. Um, and it didn't really do much. It ran the buy side one more time, went to the daily inversion for value gap, went to the lower octant, and then that was it. Didn't do anything else. The overnight session, uh, session, didn't do much either. It ran the sell side, but mostly it generated buy side liquidity, um, which basically just means it formed lots of pivot highs that are in close proximity to each other. So we do have some sell side down here. We ended up coming down to the daily for value gap that I highlighted yesterday. This daily wick is interesting to watch. These blue lines here are yesterday's first hour's opening range projections. So if I click it, the two dots, this dot and then that dot, that is the first hour's range from 9:30 open, 9:30 open to 10:30 low that was formed. And then that's just projected forward in time. Let's see. This one was really nice. That that forms the low of day actually for regular trading hours. I know, just low of day actually. So that's nice. Right before 1050 macro. 1050 macro is right here. So optimally, I would want to see the low forming either at a half hour mark or a macro. It's kind of right in between them. The lows formed at 43 and 1030 is right here. So it's in between two uh, ranges of time that I would expect a significant swing high or low to form. Um, this 11:30 low is much closer to like 11:30. A really good example of this is right here at the lower octant of the daily inversion for value gap. This high is formed at 333. So, but it didn't do much whenever I said I wanted to be done. So I was pretty well correct on that. I mean, it had this move up, but that's nothing I would really want to trade because the sell side is resting down here. So, looking at today, um, there's a little bit of sell side down here. I really like all the buy side here. I would like to shoot for this buy side and then this daily inefficiency. However, if we look at ES doesn't have that same buy side liquidity pool. It's already taken it. This was the buy side on ES. It's already trading above that. So that doesn't mean NQ won't run the buy side. It's, I think, just lower odds. I would prefer that the buy side here was on both assets, but because ES is already trading above the buy side liquidity, that makes just makes it harder to be highly confident in a run up here. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but there's also sell side below the market here, and that is on both assets. So I'm really confident in these lows getting taken because ES has relative equal lows here. Not this one. This one was taken on NQ, but this one and this one. They share sell side there. So I'm really confident in this low on ES and these lows on NQ. And then I'd like to see buy side taken on NQ and then trade up into that daily inefficiency that's right here. This. I made a really good coffee today. It's I used a mocha pot to brew it, so it's extra strong. And there's maple syrup, real maple syrup, uh, pumpkin spice seasoning, cinnamon, and molasses in it, and it's rather tasty. I am very white. Just humoring myself for whenever I rewatch this in the future, make myself laugh. Anyway, something I didn't even think about yesterday, just because I don't know, there's so much to balance in trading. It's just a lot to take in and to remember. The new day opening gap, the regular trading hours new day opening gap, I never annotated that, but it was here. So the mid gap closure would have been a nice initial draw. That would have added to the short bias. So I was already wanting to be short yesterday because I wanted to see it trade into the new week opening gap, which is this black box here. I wanted to see that traded into. Plus, the regular trading hours new day opening gap is overlapping that. So I really wish I would have remembered to annotate that because that's just even more reason to go lower yesterday. And I just wasn't thinking about it. But uh, for now, I want to look at today's new day opening gap. So that would be the high. Picking that up. This is going to be the day open gap high, most likely anyway. So there's that new day opening gap high up here. So, damn, the market opens in 5 minutes. Time goes by so quick. So, um, I want to see a draw up towards this. Definitely the midpoint, wherever that's going to be. We don't know where that's going to be up until this opening price prints. So, it's a wait and see day again. FOMC is tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will not be trading the morning session. Tomorrow's morning session will be awful. I'm calling it now. And probably today's PM session, I would assume. I think the morning session could be good today. But as we get closer and closer to FOMC tomorrow, I expect really, really bad price action. So it's definitely a wait and see. There's the sell side down here. It wouldn't be unreasonable to take that out. I kind of like the idea of watching these projections of yesterday's first hour's opening range. And then certainly I want to be watching this daily for value gap. I'm also going to go ahead and I guess I'll show it here. Ignore all the mess. It makes sense in the lower time frame. So there's this daily for value gap, which we use bullishly, and now we're trading below it, so it's inversion. And this is the current fair value gap we're trading into. So I'm just going to measure out the gradients here. All right. Yeah, so back down. So I like the idea of watching yesterday's opening range projections and then watching this daily for value gap. Because I think best case scenario for a long today would be at open, we just take these lows immediately. It would be nice. Yeah, ES tipped that too. There is this buy side from 10 o'clock on ES. If I go to a 1 minute chart, I'll full screen this real quick. 10 o'clock is here. Liquidity formed here. So that is the lunch macro draw for yesterday, like best case scenario. And that has yet to be taken. And then there's also that. That's really clean buy side liquidity. So there are some upside objectives on ES, but I'm not expecting this necessarily. But I think best case scenario today for some sort of trade for me would be if we just drop and immediately take these lows and then leave all of this buy side intact and then target that mid gap closure. I think that would be highest odds that I take something in that scenario. So 5 minute. I really like all this buy side. That seems real obvious to me. Real obvious. I want to try to be really patient. Yesterday, I was a little annoyed that I missed this whole move, which I shouldn't be annoyed, but you know, emotions are unavoidable sometimes. I just think I should have been more aware that we could have had a nice move yesterday, but I was really like thinking opposite of that. So today, I want to expect a nice move up to these highs, bare minimum, and then best case scenario, the daily inversion for value gap. But I want to be, I want to remember that I was annoyed yesterday, and I don't want to force any trades. And so I need to just remember to be patient. All right, so that's the open. I'm going to go ahead and draw in this new day opening gap high to the open. I'm going to click this trading range. I'm going to get rid of the octants. I can just eyeball those. We'll make it why am I head casing about this? There we go. So that yellow line, that yellow dotted line is going to be my drawn liquidity, and it's overlapping this liquidity pool, which is really, really nice to see. Zoom in this 1 minute. Actually, see the price action. Beautiful. I really like that it left these highs here. See ES. ES is falling as well. That's good. So I would really like to see these lows taken on NQ first, then target the highs, and then maybe a bullish S&T on ES potentially. Use this inversion for value gap here. This wick came up to that. Right there. Went to the exact midpoint. That's probably random that it did that. Right, running for these lows pretty nicely. I like that. It's tempting to go for like a scalp down to here because I'm pretty confident in them. But certainly not here. I'd want some sort of retracement if I was going to do that. Not actually taking this. I'm just measuring risk, seeing what I'm working with here. In this inefficiency, it came up to it and fell away. I didn't check the economic calendar this morning. I checked it yesterday, and there wasn't any news today, I don't believe. But I've noticed that can change because people, political figures or economic figures, will have speeches sometimes, and sometimes they're unscheduled and they get scheduled last minute, and that can affect how the market behaves. And I did not check that this morning, and maybe I should have. I would like to check it now, but it seems distracting, and I'll try to go quick here. Sometimes my computer can be slow. I've already got a bunch of things pulled up, so we'll see if we can do it. Let's try it. Hold up. I'm watching the chart on my other monitor, and it's currently stuck in a range, so not missing much. Come on. It's getting there. It also pulls up two tabs anytime I do this, which is completely unnecessary and just slows down my computer even more. So that's rather annoying. I hate that. Um, but I want to check this economic calendar just in case there's some random guy speaking and that's going to affect price action. I forgot to check earlier, so I'm trying to check now. I knew this would probably happen. There's that second tab. Go away. Useless. Just slowing down my computer. All right, looks like we're going to run that sell side. I'm still watching my other monitor. We took some buy sides, swept some highs, and now we're tanking lower. Um, really regretting not remembering to check this before the market opened because this is really starting to frustrate me. I mean, this is ridiculous now. I mean, is it even trying to load anymore? Like, come on. Oh, goodness. Getting there. I know it's that second tab, too. I know it's that second tab that's messing up my computer. Always opens it up for whatever reason. It's so stupid. I hate it. Just about there. Just about there. Come on. God, this sucks. March, April, May, June, July. Here we go. We're doing it. I forgot about this. 10 o'clock, medium impact. It was worth it after all. Okay. So there's 10 o'clock, medium impact news. It's not going to affect the market too much. But that does add some context. Get that out of here, bro. Goodness. Just killing my computer. That does add some context. That means it could wait for 10, potentially. So, um, took that sell side nicely. That was that sweep. I was watching the 5-second chart. All these high stacked with those wicks, it swept above those and then fell for the sell side. That is nice. I was wanting to see something like that. I could have potentially went for a scalp here. Was I not dealing with trying to check the economic calendar and my computer being slow? I should have checked that before the market opened. I just ran out of time and didn't think about it. So, but this is looking great. This is exactly what I would have wanted to see for me to want to shoot for these highs. These lows got taken out first, and these were left. And that mid gap closure is right here overlapping the liquidity, so that's really nice. Medium impact news is at 10, right there. So I'm just going to highlight that so I don't forget. Medium impact news. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. I don't think it should fluctuate price too much, but it does add some context. It could be a nice, and 10 o'clock is often used for the time to reverse price. And because there's medium impact news, that could it just adds to the idea that maybe 10 o'clock would be the time to come back up into the range. See what ES is doing. ES is shooting for these lows here. Weave through that. I love that it left these highs here. The only thing I don't like is that ES doesn't have that same buy side because ES has already taken it. That's the only thing I don't like about this coming back up into this range. But that's not too big of a deal. ES has some other. I mean, it has this high of day, and then this 10 o'clock liquidity from yesterday. So I'd like to see ES take this low. It's the spot right there. Anybody along in here are going to have their stop losses right here because it's a double bottom quote support. They're going to take that out. There it is. Tipped it. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm a little frustrated. I contemplated not checking the economic calendar because I wanted to focus because in my mind, scalping down to these lows made a lot of sense, especially after this precision on this inversion for value gap. We went to the exact middle and left it. And then we had this really nice inefficiency overlapping this daily Wix midpoint. That's validating this. I really like the idea of scalping down to these lows, and that would have been such a clean, easy trade getting in this inefficiency, but I was distracted with the economic calendar and my computer being slow, so that's frustrating. It's really frustrating being exactly correct on these moves and not capitalizing on them. The lunch macro yesterday was a perfect example of that. I called it long and short, and just I didn't get filled on my short order there. But that's okay. They're really creating a bearish sentiment right before FOMC. The more that we do this, I really think FOMC on Wednesday will just run it straight back to these highs. Because, yeah, I think they're just generating bearish sentiment for retail traders. Go out to the 60-minute here. Yeah. Retail's looking at this like it's breaking out of this range to the downside. Um, and that it's in a downtrend. I'm viewing this as we're sweeping sell side liquidity below this low and this low, and then we're going to accumulate longs for smart money and then run out the buy side up here. This is way too clean. Even if we are going to go into some sort of bear market, I think they will take these highs out first because they won't allow retail traders to capture such a large move lower. They will take this out first. And FOMC would just be the perfect news driver to run that out. And they're leaving a lot of minor buy side liquidity pools on the way. Here, now here. So while it is very weak, I am willing to go short. I want to be leaning long. But I have to be very, very selective because obviously I just said I think they'll use FOMC to reverse it. So, but I do like the idea of shooting for these highs. The only problem is that ES has already taken them. ES ran that side out really nicely. Looks like it could run for the lows down here. Check out this one. So, 15-minute. Let's see here. It could tip this one and then leave that one. I don't I don't know. It could take them all. I'm gonna measure this little wick here. Watch that wick. That wick's midpoint. Oof, what a huge, wow. What a beautiful rundown. There's the low of the... I like that this projection, this blue line, from yesterday's opening range projection is overlapping the low of this daily for value gap. I like that those two levels are overlapping. See what it does there? I love the idea of coming back up to here. The bodies are closing below those levels. If something's going to be bullish, if you're expecting some direction, you want the bodies to be respecting your levels. Because we close below, I'm still this doesn't mean like, oh, it's not going to go higher. I'm just making observation. I still want to lean for the highs here. Just about 950 macro. Just about. That is a really nice reaction off that level there. If you go to any other time frame, like the 5-minute, it's just wicked it there. I saw that yesterday. Some people were typing in my chat And I typically do not read chat when I'm trading because I'm just focused. But today I have my phone pulled up just in case someone says something so I can see it. But I don't know if I want to make a habit of that because really this is just to record my own trading uh, for my own benefit so that I can upload it to YouTube and then have an archive of my trading for study purposes. That's mainly what this is for. So I don't know if I'll make a habit of reading chat. That's a nice run off that low there. Looking at this 5 minute, I mean, that's a nice wick that we've formed here. Watch that midpoint. Inversion for value gap. Overlapping that. Real interesting. Look at that. What did I say? Oh my goodness. We tipped this low and then respected this midpoint of that wick. We might not take that one. It still could. It might not. That is a massive run off that. Technically a 1 minute break in structure on NQ here. There's a swing high, broke above it. We're in macro. It's tempting for me to attempt something here, but we could stab below this one more time. It could still wait for 10 o'clock. Optimally, it waits for 10 o'clock. It went to that midpoint of that 5 minute wick. Let's see here. It's a nice reaction off that wick and the inversion for value gap down there. It could run at 950 using macro. Optimally, it'll use 10 o'clock. But it could start at 950 and then 10 o'clock will accelerate it. I really like the idea of coming back up into the range. But I don't want to rush an entry. I don't want to get in too early. I want to try to be patient. That's a real nice reaction there. That's super nice. Real interesting. Looking really, really, really interesting. Hmm. Let's see here. Risk is pretty high. It's really volatile. Hmm. I am not getting in yet. I'm just measuring risk, getting an order prepped in case I decide I like something. But that's a sharp move back down here. It could stab through this one more time. And again, optimally it waits for that 10 o'clock time. We'll see how the body closes. Check ES. Yeah, it could be NQ takes this low, and then ES leaves this, and then there's bullish SMT. Technically, ES left this low here, relative equal lows, but it's done enough. It doesn't have to take that low out. It's done a lot, taking out all of these lows. Okay, body closed above that. Really interesting. If the 5 minute chart, if this candle closes below this black line here, the midpoint of this 5 minute wick, I would expect this low to get taken out. If it closes above it, not necessarily. So that's a very key level right now. Okay. I expect this low to get taken right here. I also want to measure out this range using yesterday's projections here. The event horizon, the midpoint of these two blue lines, is right here. I want to measure that out because it could stop using this range. It could use these levels here, especially because I think it'll take out this low. Okay, about to get that bullish SMT on ES that I talked about. I want NQ to take this low. It needs to take this low. I won't feel comfortable getting in a long if these equal lows are here, especially because we close below this midpoint of that wick. And I think 10 o'clock will be used for the reversal. Mm. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this vertical line here. I know 10 o'clock has medium impact, and it's about 2.5 minutes away. It's really pretending it's not going to take that low. Hmm. Oh, there it is. All right, just about 10 o'clock. I like the idea of keying off of this inversion still, if we displace back up. This would be a breaking structure here. bullishness on ES here. We do have stat lows, but ES has done a lot, so it doesn't need to take that necessarily. The bodies did close below that in the 1 minute, so we'll see. We'll see. Just about 10 o'clock, we should see a small spike in volatility here. Oh, trading view is lagging. I'm looking at my other chart and it's updating faster. The bodies stayed inside this daily for value gap right there at the low. Reached below this. Body stayed there. This is looking really, really tempting. This needs to close above this inversion. I'm not going to jump the gun on this. I want to wait for this to close. The only hiccup are the equal lows on ES. That's the only hiccup right now. All right, that's my fill. I want to see a quick run off that higher. I want this candle to run away. It needs to go quick. It's 10 o'clock. It's time to go. Nice. Keep going. I want to see a quick run above these highs here. Optimally, it would have left a little bit of this gap open here. It was immediate rebalance, but I want to see it start running. I want to watch all these inversion for value gaps. I want it to use these as footholds to get up above, to go higher in price. Targeting bodies above this midpoint here, that's good. Snapped off the low. I really want to see some speed pick up here. I don't want to see it return to this too many times. Looking at the 5 second, there's some sell side generated here. I really want it to run away so that I don't have to be worried about that getting taken. Mm. Hmm. All right, it's taking that minor sell side. Really want to see it snap off that inversion. I don't want to see it return back to that again. It's already gone there twice. I want to see it go very fast now. New 5 minutes opening up. Perfect opportunity to see expansion higher. If we take out this high, I'm going to go to break even because I want to see it explode higher. Yeah. Call that good enough for break even. Right, risk is out of the trade. I can breathe a little bit. That's nice. I want to see it just run higher here. I'll keep taking a peek at that 5 minute every once in a while. We'll check ES. What has ES done? Okay. I want this to be a breakaway gap. So I'm really happy going to break even here. It shouldn't come down to these lows. It should accelerate through here. I want this to be a breakaway gap. Don't fill in this whole gap. Just keep expanding. I want to see it rip through this inefficiency here. It was used bearishly here. So if we displace above it, it will be used to go higher. This should be an inversion for value gap. I don't want to see this filled in. I don't want to see that. Okay, went to this often here on the daily. I really want to see this stay open. Preferably this was larger even, but it's come back up now. I take another peek at this 5 minute. I don't like that it's struggling here in that inefficiency. ES has taken it as well. There's bearish SMT. That's not what I want to see. I'm just going to exit the position there for a small profit. I don't want to see this return like that. I wanted this gap to stay open. If it rips from here, that's fine. But because ES took this high and NQ did not, and it's rejecting this inefficiency, I don't want to see that. This needed to be a breakaway gap. And then that would have been break even. So that was an amazing decision for me to get out there. That was a, let's see, $73 profit. I was a little unfortunate. I wanted to squeeze 100 out of that, but I just didn't think it was gonna. I hesitated a little bit because I was wanting to see it come up into this wick a little bit, and then I was gonna get out there, and that would have been a little closer to $100 profit. But I didn't think it. I just thought I know I need to do it now, and that was good because that would have been break even had I not done that. So there you go. That's a $73 profit. Wasn't easy. It spent a little too much time in here. This was a nice move. This was kind of a warning. It did leave a small portion of this gap open here, but it's very small. I said I would have preferred it to be larger, and that this candle just kind of run away and leave this open. That's kind of a warning. And then whenever there's the bearish SMT here, ES took this high, NQ did not. And then it's coming back down. Like, I don't want to see this gap traded too. So whenever that happens, I just need to cut the trade because it's taking sell side. This idea for these highs is still in play, I think. Certainly these highs, right? It could be, depending on where it's at during the lunch macro. this could be that 10 o'clock liquidity run for the lunch macro right here. But I said I wanted this inefficiency to be ran through aggressively and quickly. That did not happen. It respected the midpoint and came back down, took sell side. I'm very happy with the management. I'm very happy with my patience. My entry was beautiful. Very little drawdown. It's a little unfortunate, but this should have been a break-even trade, but I made $73 on it. So you can't ask for anything better than that. I went to break even only after this high was stayed slightly before, because I figured this candle's high was good enough. I want to just see it expand. I don't want it to see it wick this high, come back down. I was just, I'm looking for very specific delivery of price, and I'm really happy with how I managed that. It was a little stressful, kind of a lot of risk. It was like $150 risk because of the volatility. But that was only in play for a couple minutes, then it was break even, and yeah, if it rips from here, that'd be a little annoying. I probably won't participate. It depends. But because these highs were left here, if they're left, depending on where it's at for lunch macro, that could be an amazing place to target for buy side. Chart's a little busy here. I'm going to get rid of some of these. Yeah, it could be, because these lows were left here on ES, that could be the reason we're not, like, ripping higher, because it could be that ES does want to take this low, and it's just accumulating, playing games, tricking retail into buying a double bottom before taking them out. So it could be because ES hasn't taken this low yet. That's why we're hesitating to actually move higher yet, but yeah, not horrible. A little unfortunate that I missed the scalp down to these lows, but that's okay. So 10 o'clock is a really interesting time of day. It did offer a reversal at the exact time I wanted it to. But 10 o'clock's interesting. It can completely change the trend of price. It could rip straight up to these highs. Or it can have a small retracement into the range and offer a continuation move lower. Offer a premium price for smart money to add to a position for continuation. And that seems like that's what's happening. Clearly, it's not reversing. Again, this inefficiency was very, very important. This candle was very important. It needed to stay open. This is a slight warning sign as well. This gap wasn't left open. It was an immediate rebalance. You need to see a breakaway gap. And this one is very small. I would have preferred that this candle open, dip into this candle just a little bit, or even better, not at all, and just rip through this high. And then this would have been a large inefficiency, and it would have been used as a breakaway. Because it reached so deep in here, and because this one was immediately rebalanced, that's kind of a warning that there won't be follow through. See this gap? This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. This big candle came in, next one opened, traded into this just a little bit, and immediately ran away. This gap was left open. It's somewhat large. It's twice the size of this one, just about. And it was left open and then fell. Came back up, just kissed it just a little bit. And the high of this wick here is lower than the low of this wick. So it's remaining open. That's a breakaway gap. And there's follow through. That's what I wanted to see for the upside, and that did not happen. So whenever this candle, first of all, it shouldn't really come down to this at all optimally, but especially once it goes to the high of this wick, it's over, it's done. So that's why I got out early there for that small profit. Hmm. I like that it left these highs. That's a nice lunch macro objective. Um, this high wasn't formed after 10. It was formed at 9:50, but this high was, and the lunch macro will run 10 o'clock liquidity generated after 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock is right here, and then this high is formed, and it's overlapping that high. So that's a nice objective to have. Uh, I love this trade, even though it didn't have the follow through I wanted. I love it because of my management. I knew exactly what I wanted to see from the delivery. It didn't happen. I cut it early, and then, I mean, seconds later, after I cut it early, it would have been break even. So that's the difference between a $73 profit and break even. That can be the difference between a profitable week or an unprofitable week. That can be the difference between having a profitable trade or not having a profitable trade. And it's really fast paced, it's nuanced, it's complicated at times. A lot of experience is required, and I really like that I managed that in the way that I did. Um, yeah, I mean, people just assume this is very easy, and that it isn't. I don't know. It's not a real job or whatever. And people really do. People that don't trade do not understand how hard this can be. I mean, I had $150 like risk on the table here. And no one does that day to day. It's very challenging and can be very stressful. So I'm just really happy with how I managed that. That's a professionally managed trade. Uh, so that's great. I aligned time and price. I waited for 10 o'clock. That's what I wanted to see. Right at 10, boom, the setup formed and it pressed higher. Um, and that's not bad. I made money going long off this move down. So, there's two arguments for that. There's one argument you could say, why aren't you capitalizing on the move down? And I would say, well, I was distracted because I was checking the economic calendar and I just simply missed it. And then the other uh, viewpoint you could have is like, oh, that's really impressive that you captured a long in this down move. Some people would say like that's unprofessional that you did that. Others would say, oh, great job. You waited for exactly what you wanted to see and capitalized on it and managed it well. So, hmm. You know, I'm not the most experienced trader. Still a lot of experience for me to be had. But looking at this, so 10 o'clock will offer one of two things. It'll either offer a retracement, offering a continuation move, or it will offer a complete and utter reversal. I was shooting for the complete and utter reversal because I want to see these highs engaged. FOMC is on Wednesday. They are obviously generating a bearish sentiment in the market. They are leaving a lot of buy-side liquidity intact. So it would make sense that they don't go take this out, that they leave it for Wednesday after FOMC. It would make sense that they generate buy-side here, a minor buy-side liquidity pool, and that objective is met for the lunch macro, but this one is not. That's left for after FOMC. So, if I was a more experienced trader, I was getting over the adrenaline and stress of this trade. Making these quick. I wanted to say quick and fast at the same time. Making these quick, fast decisions. You have seconds sometimes to execute these types of decisions here, and there's a lot that you're weighing in your mind before you actually make the decision. There's a lot, so it can be stressful. So whenever I got out for that small profit and it moved lower, I wasn't even looking at this chart anymore. I wasn't even thinking about trading it again because I was just kind of processing what had just happened. Was I more experienced, I could have gotten short here to take out this low, because 10 o'clock will offer one of two things. Either a continuation move, it'll offer a premium. If the underlying move has been down, right, 10 o'clock could offer a premium for a continuation or a complete reversal. I got out early because I knew once this had happened that complete reversal was not going to happen. So what does that mean? It's the other one. It's offering continuation. So whenever we do this, we have this inversion fair value gap plus this breakaway gap here. That could have been used as a short entry right there to take out this low. So was I more experienced? I think that would have been a great place to get back in and go the other direction, because the chart's telling you I now have new information. It's telling me it's likely going to go below this low here. And interestingly, it has not traded below the event horizon of these two projections, this blue line and that blue line. That is the first hour's opening range from yesterday. So from here to here, and then it's projected forward in price. This is the gradient levels of these two here, and that midpoint it's stopping at. So that's really interesting. And there's a little bit of accumulation below low of day. I really want to see ES take this low because it spent so much time down here, and it's created even more sell side liquidity on stacked on top of this one. I really want to see that taken out, and maybe this move up is generating its 10 o'clock liquidity for the macro, because this high got taken out. I would like to see this high stay intact, and then that be the 10 o'clock or the It's not 10 o'clock draw. It's the 10 o'clock liquidity for the lunch macro draw. That's what I'd like to see here in it. I really want to see these lows taken before I can feel super confident in going long on some reversal or whatever. Check this 5-minute here. Went up to the lower quadrant of this daily inversion right there. Well, I think I'm going to take a break. It could head higher while I'm gone. I don't care. I'd rather see buy side liquidity generated and then the lunch macro go take that buy side. And I don't think I'm shooting for this anymore. I feel like if it was going to take this out, it would have done it quicker. I really think what they'll do for buy side is generate some buy side, and then lunch macro run the internal minor buy side liquidity, and then we'll leave this intact up until Wednesday after FOMC. I think that's what they're going to do. They're just going to continue with this bearish sentiment in the market up until after FOMC. So optimally, I'd like to see the lunch macro run some buy side. So I may come back for that. But for now, I think I'm going to be done with the morning session, and I'm just going to wait for that lunch macro.